Ever wondered how Noah managed to fit 2 of every species into his ark without it turning into a zoo? Well, let's take a peek at the original blueprint, according to the good old book of Genesis. It describes the ark as a colossal structure, about 1.5 football fields long, half a field wide, and a 3-story building high. Imagine that! It was like a floating 3-story mansion, or a mini skyscraper on water. But don't think of it as a luxury cruise liner. No, less buffet, more dung. And certainly no fancy cocktails by the pool. But let's give credit where it's due, that's a lot of space. If you're picturing a chaotic, squawking, roaring mess, you might be surprised. This was not your average boat trip. So Noah had his blueprint, a divine DIY project. Now, onto the fun part, gathering the tenants. Now imagine having to play a global game of hide and seek with every animal species. No Google Maps, no GPS, just good old divine guidance. And Noah was the champion of this divine scavenger hunt, tasked with rounding up 2 of each animal species, which, let's be honest, must have been quite a zoo. Picture this: Noah, the world's first zookeeper, running around trying to convince a pair of stubborn mules to get on a wooden boat. Or imagine him trying to explain to a pair of leopards that they're not on the menu, but part of a life-saving mission. Now we all know how slow sloths can be. With their leisurely pace, they probably arrived just in time for the ark's grand departure. I bet Noah was probably thinking, better late than never. And let's not forget about the ants. They probably thought they'd scored a free cruise vacation. Imagine their surprise when they realized they weren't on a tropical cruise, but a voyage of survival. What about the elephants? Getting them on board must have been a real balancing act. And snakes! How did Noah convince them to slither on board without causing a hissy fit? Oh, and don't even get me started on the birds. Trying to catch a pair of every bird species. That's a real tweet. With all the animals on board, it was time to sail. Or rather, float. So, they're on the ark. Now what? It's not like there was a pool deck or nightly entertainment. Imagine the daily routine aboard Noah's ark. Wake up, feed the animals, clean up after the animals, sleep, and then repeat. I bet Noah and his family felt like they were stuck in the world's longest and smelliest zookeeper internship. Meal times must have been a real culinary adventure. Tonight's special, hay and more hay. And let's not forget about the water rationing. No, Mr. Elephant, you can't take another bath. We're on a strict water diet here. But it wasn't all work and no play. The nocturnal animals surely knew how to throw a party. Can you picture it? The owls DJing, the bats doing their best impressions of disco balls, while the rest of the ark snoozed away, oblivious to the after-dark shenanigans. And talk about a room with a view. The giraffes definitely scored the best real estate with their long necks peeking out of the ark's windows, enjoying the sea breeze and the endless water vistas. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Let's not forget about the lion who thought he was king of the ark, and the monkeys who were constantly monkeying around. Noah's family had their hands full, keeping the peace and making sure the ark didn't turn into a floating zoo of chaos. After 40 days and 40 nights, the ark's cruise finally came to an end. I bet Noah and his family were more than ready to trade in their sea legs for some solid ground. Imagine the chaos when it was time to disembark. It must have been like an animal version of Black Friday sales. Just think about it. All these animals from different species, sizes and temperaments descending from the ark after a long stay. The sheer pandemonium might have been both hilarious and terrifying. Did the lions wait patiently in line behind the zebras? Did the elephants kindly step aside to let the mice scurry by? And let's not even get started on the snails. They were probably still trying to disembark by the time Noah's grandkids were born. Could you imagine the traffic jam? The giraffes craning their necks to see what's causing the holdup, while the poor snails are inching along, leaving a slimy trail behind. So that's how Noah played the ultimate game of animal Jenga. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go clean up after my one cat. Can't imagine dealing with 2 of every animal.